So welcome, everybody. This is the Southwest Regional Folk Alliance breakout session, SWRFA, as it's fondly known. And our conference is at the end of September, September 25th through 29th in Austin, Texas. And for those of you that wonder why I have a halo, it's because there's no curtain on this window and I am at a friend's house using an unfamiliar office. And so I just look bright and shiny, I guess. SWRFA is the conference that does the song prompts that we were just talking about a few minutes ago at the conference. It's kind of one of the most fun, unique things that we do. And so again, if you didn't hear, you can go on Chorus and click that you want a song prompt, and you write a song over the course of this event today and tomorrow, and you can, and there's a place where you can post it, and everyone that does that posts their song will be in a drawing for the conference registration, Folk Alliance conference registration of their choice. So be sure and do it, even if you think you can't come to one of the conferences, do the song prompt because it's so brilliant. It's just like I said, it's my favorite thing I do all year is just to hear you hear the songs that you write from, just an idea. It's just such a gift. And so many of you already are quite aware of things Folk Alliance, and we have several people from Folk Alliance on this call that can expand a little as well, but it's for everyone. It's for anyone in the music industry, whether you're a CD replicator or a venue, an agent, manager, musician, every kind of music and creativity that you can think of. If it's a type of music you might not normally have access to, you just discover so many wonderful things at not only the main Folk Alliance conference, but each of the regions, because they're all a little bit different. SWRFA is smaller. We normally have about 300 plus people. It, of course, went down a bit after COVID, and we're still building it back up. But we have the panels and seminars, a lot of opportunities to play music. We have open mics. We have the in-room showcases. The official showcase applications just opened on June 1st, which our website is I should put this in the chat. I see if I can manage that in a minute. SWFolkalliance.org, and you just can do your showcase application. The registration is also open. We have deals for first-time venues, so there's a place on our website that you can ask questions, and actually literally they come to me. So I would be happy to answer anybody's specific questions. So I guess I'll ask, I don't see everybody's actual faces here, but I don't know, by a show of hands or sound or something, how many folks in this breakout session have actually been to a Folk Alliance conference of some sort, either by hands or just, yeah. Oh, hi, Kamika. Yay. Most everybody. One of the other things that's happening today and tomorrow are all of the panel ideas that each of the regions brought to the table for this, our first collaborative effort as Folk Alliance and all of the regions working on a project together as one team. And it's just really been delightful and fun, and everybody has contributed totally different content and interesting topics and things that you can participate in. Like there's song circles at the end of each day by Farm and Far West, and again the song prompt by SWRFA. And so a lot of really wonderful, some pre-recorded, some live. So it's a little variety, keep everybody stimulated. And I started to say something else and I've already forgotten. So is there anybody that, oh, I know, I was going to, because Kamika is on this call, I was going to say the panel that SWRFA is doing tomorrow is about foundations that give musicians opportunities. So like, if you can't afford studio time, you can apply to have it paid for through these foundation opportunities, workshops, artist in residence programs. And so as I'm no longer a festival producer, I have become connected to organizations that's what they do. They give back and foundations. And so the panel tomorrow will tell you a lot about just 3 of those. But Kamika and I met because of another one called Music to Life, which is Noel Paul Stuckey from Peter, Paul and Mary and his daughter Liz that started in It's Music for Change. And it's another fabulous opportunity. So Music to Life, spelled out, is just a fabulous opportunity to express your place in the world, how you perceive it and how you can help other people to make change just through music. So that's my at least my initial speech, introduction, whatever. So does somebody have specific questions or comments or anything that they wanted to bring up to me, to this group? Do you need more detailed information about SWRFA or Folk Alliance? Somebody go.
I raised my hand here, Dallas. I guess you can't see it.
Oh, now I do, yeah.
Yeah, I posted the question over in the chat room. I've been curious because I know NERFA has it, but I've never, as you know, I've never been to the regional one, certainly not yours. Is there a Wisdom of the Elders session at your conferences?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Is it recorded and is
Yes.
it available somewhere?
Yes, we have, I think it's on YouTube. I do have them recorded every year. I think one year the guy missed doing it, but yes, they are recorded, and we do. Sonny drove me crazy until I finally got my stuff together and created them. We've done them probably maybe 5 or 6 years. And interestingly enough, that you should ask, I was actually one of the Wisdom of the Elders people last year because somebody had to back out, and everybody said, well, why don't you do it? And I was
well
like,
deserved.
Okay. So last year was Rich Warren, who's from radio in Chicago.
Sure.
He usually is a moderator, but he was one of the actual wisdoms last year. So it was Rich and me and J Boy Adams, who was he's just had a varied musical career, from playing with ZZ Top and Stephen Stills and Joe Cocker to it just goes on, and he was so funny. So it was a really great one to watch and hear about. So
I
yeah.
see Jared posted the link there. But I also have to, for the people that didn't know, but many years ago, and Jared or Jennifer can tell us, there was a session in I guess it was in Kansas City called Wisdom of the Whippersnappers,
Yeah.
which was really cool. I think it was only done once.
Yeah, get equal time.
Yeah.
Because, everybody has something to say and has knowledge about what they've experienced. And so, yeah, I would hope that somebody may bring that back. So anybody else got questions or?
I'd just love to hear more about the conference. I've been to the Folk Alliance General one, and I have yet to get to a SWRFA, so I'm going to be looking into it. But I'd love to I know you gave a little bit of info on it, but I'd love to hear just a little bit more about the flavor. The NERFA head was saying every region's kind of what they sort of look to offer. He mentioned NERFA was more professional development, and some of the other more regions were singer-songwriter. Like, for those looking to come to SWRFA, what can they sort of anticipate, or what's the flavor? I don't know. He was kind of saying of the SWRFA one, would you say, Dallas?
Well, I would say there's probably a preponderance of the singer-songwriter there, and some people believe that's because that was kind of my orientation in the music industry. But I think also they kind of find their own level of what works. And having like a 15-piece conjunto band at our official showcases would be wonderful and everybody would love it, but I don't know how many gigs they would get because, you know, most of the venues are, there's a few large festivals, but smaller festivals, medium-sized, smaller festivals, and coffee houses and venues and theaters and a lot of house concerts. So I would say that's the preponderance of the venues that actually attend SWRFA at this point.
Mhm.
And we do official showcases on Friday and Saturday. There's six or seven each night, and they're open to the public. So we make sure that the ballroom is full. Once you have gone through the application process, which there's a panel on what all of the application today or tomorrow, I think it's today, of what all the processes are for all the different organizations. So if you're interested in applying to more than one region or even to Folk Alliance International, there's a panel that's going to give a lot of the ins and outs of how each of those work and help everybody with that information. But the official showcases are Friday and Saturday night, and then we do the in-room showcases. Late night starts at 10:30. Try to get people to quit around 2. There's usually about 12 different rooms. We eat all our meals together. That's included in the registration because it's just such a great way to, I would say our focus, if you want to say it's more, it's not limited to songwriters. Like if somebody doesn't write original music, they can still apply and they still get into the showcases. But it's building relationships. You may, and people do go away with gigs, and you may not. But what you've done is especially at meals, built relationships so that probably the gigs will come later, because once you've actually sat next to somebody and had a meal, instead of chasing them down the hall and trying to give them your CD, you just had a conversation and then they love you and then they want your CD or whatever it is that you have brought to the table. And so it's just building all of that so that you can build a tour. We unfortunately, a lot of the venues that we had in the Dallas-Fort Worth area have all gone away, COVID, and you live up there. And so so we had a group that did block booking. I mean, they presented a room and they shared the booking of the room. And then if they all liked the same, artist that they saw, that artist would get a whole tour just up in the north part of Texas. And so there's still some of that happening. And several of the foundations that I was talking about are going, the panel that they're doing for this event will be at SWRFA, just a more time and the possibility of interaction with the foundation leaders, and I get to ask them questions and find out more about the organizations and the opportunities. So this is sort of like a teaser to where it exists and you can get more information, and there'll be more of that also at SWRFA. And, Steve just asked about wisdom of the elders, and right now I've been trying to get Eliza Gilkison and Marcia Ball, and they're still pretty busy, so that hasn't actually been confirmed yet. But I do have Joe Abels, who runs the Saxon Pub in Austin, huge, wonderful venue that's supported musicians for decades. So the flavor is really about connection, communication, building relationships. We have an open exhibit. You don't have to pay to have an exhibit table that people come in once and then never come back again. It's just the whole area that anybody at the conference can put out CDs or stickers or their schedule or whatever they want to put. And it's right by where everybody dumps out after a seminar or a panel. And so people can go and peruse all that stuff during the conference at any time of the day and pick up information. You run into people, start having conversations that, an exhibit hall is wonderful, but we found, at least at SWRFA, that it was just, it was only a couple of hours a day, and then people would go and not go again because they kind of had seen everything. This allows for random meetings, any time of the day, and we don't charge anything for it, and it's open for everybody. So those are a few, and we have Wednesday meet and greet at a venue in Austin. Used to be at the Armadillo, but then they've gone away. So we're at New World Deli. So anybody that comes in on Wednesday, particularly if you've traveled a long way, it's a place where you can come and meet everybody, sing a song, get food, hang out, get to know folks ahead of time. Thursday, we do an open mic and dinner by the pool. So that, again, it's kind of about making sure that people have what they need at the location, so they don't have to go searching for it and then they miss everything. And so all of that kind of stuff is contained at the sorry about that, folks. I didn't there. Hang up, turn it off. Sorry. And so everybody gets, once you're there, you just, everything you need is just right. And our hotel is just they love us. They think that we're just the best thing. They love the music, and they love the fact that we always clean up after ourselves, and everybody's nice to their staff. And so, it's like we show in the music community, we show appreciation for the people that provide for us. And I think sometimes hotels that do a lot of conferences don't always get that. And so I have found that they just allow us to just be who we are. And if we're playing music too loud at 3 o'clock in the morning, they don't say you can't do that. They say, let us find you a different place that you can do that. Because they know that's what we want to do, and they love that about us, but there are other guests in the hotel. So, so it's just a real sweet conference, and you can tell I love it a lot. And so did you, again, panels on all kinds of topics. In fact, I just met, and I think she's here, Anne, yeah, copyright. Yeah, you look different. Did you let your hair down?
I brushed my hair.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's from the copyright office, and I'm like, oh, what great information. And, things like PRO organizations and copyright and, like I said, foundations and organizations that are like the Texas Music Office. There's a music office in all of our states. And so on our website, we have a listing of what they are for Colorado and Arizona and New Mexico, because a lot of people don't realize that they can access that information through a funded organization that's for musicians, and that exists in most states. And so it's just today and tomorrow, and our conferences are all about, making sure that the people who are the creative people know how to do all the other pieces that they're required to do to get their creativity out there, because that's sometimes the hardest part. Yeah. Did that help?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I felt like it painted a really neat picture of the flavor, for lack of another word. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it does
Thank
have
you,
good flavor.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And just as a brief introduction, yes, I'm Ann Tatros. I'm a public affairs specialist at the United States Copyright Office, as Dallas mentioned. So just trying to assist with outreach efforts for the office to bring to musicians in regards to protecting your work, but also monetizing your work. So just trying to see if there's opportunities for collaboration or conferences that staff can attend, or, we can always provide virtual speaking engagements. I can put my email in the chat. So if you have an interest in reaching out to me, absolutely please do.
great. That's already a success story for me for just the beginning of this conference, because I'm delighted to meet Anne and talk her into coming to SWRFA. So anybody else have specific questions or comments? Or
Dallas, I think you sold me too, even though that conference is the same days as the IBMA conference in Raleigh,
oh,
which I like going to too, but I think I might come.
oh
Just-
yay! Yay me.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are you doing anything on Zoom at this point as a region?
No, we did the Zoom when we had to, and we thought we would keep a a presence of that when we went live again, and then there wasn't anybody that was really that knowledgeable or interested in doing that was part of our team, and it's not me for sure. And so that hasn't happened. Not to say it won't ever, but it's not in the plan right now. Come on, you gotta have some other kind of questions. No? All right, so I'll just keep talking. I mean, I can talk forever. No, go ahead, Victoria.
Do have one more, and I know you're not really affiliated with Kerrville Folk Festival anymore, but I was wondering if they have, I really want to go back to it. I used to go to it years ago, but it's so damn hot now. Have they ever thought about moving it?
No,
You know?
I'll either not happen
Yeah. Yeah.
Quad Valley, the property is pretty integral to the feel of that
Oh, I
particular.
I don't mean moving the property. I mean the dates, like.
Oh,
I was there in April and the weather was great. I camped out for the
they
eclipse.
have, we used to do a festival in September, and then now they do one in October. They moved the September to October. So and then they did, I think they had, I don't have anything to do with it anymore, but I know they had a festival for the eclipse, which of course was kind of a one-time thing. And so I honestly don't know, but I think you could probably go to their website and there's a staff listing thing, and could
Just bug them. Okay.
just say
Because I
so.
can't go when it's 103, you know?
Yeah, it was actually got up to 106 this year, so yeah, that
106.
was pretty brutal, I think.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people that came into town to go to air-conditioned restaurants and visit with me, which was great. I got to see people that way, and they got to recover briefly. But I can remember even when we would do the fall festival in September, there was one year, even in September, it was in the hundreds. It's, and it just, it's just part of where it is any time of the year. The other thing is, there's another little festival not too far from Kerrville in another town, and they are changing their dates.
Songwriter's Serenade or?
No, that's already inside. Well, it used to be called Fisher Fest. I think it's now Old Folk, New Folk, but it's really, it's in a dance hall. It's lovely, beautiful. And I think they're moving to September, which it can be just as hot in September here. There, I'm not there right now. In fact, I'm in Maryland right now, and it's 90 degrees. So I don't
Sounds
know.
like a panel on how climate change is affecting all of our beloved festivals, especially our summer ones. Dallas, there was a great question that came in just a minute ago about how many people tend to attend SWRFA. What's the size?
We were typically at 300 plus before COVID, and now we've gotten back up to 250 maybe. I think it was maybe 218 or something last year, not counting the last minute. So we're still trying to grow it back to the 300. If it got much larger than that, we would probably have to move, which would be fine if somebody wanted to figure that out. But
as somebody who's attended the conference, that number is a really excellent number for the amount of time that you're together in the hotel for that 3 or 4 days. You really get a chance to meet everyone. Every artist in attendance has a showcase, which is another really cool thing about these regions, because there's plenty of space for that number of artists, right? So that's a really cool thing. Like, I definitely have attended conferences that are closer to like 800 to 1,000 people, where there are artists who are there who are like, unfortunately, I don't have a showcase, but here's my card. And that just doesn't happen at SWRFA. Every artist has a chance to play, even if it's by the pool in the evening.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we realized early on, is that when particularly the artists spend what money they have to attend something like that, that's why they want to be there. They want to share their music. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. It's kind of the core reason that they attend any conference that has, a music element to it. And so we kind of focused on that. And we don't, not to say there is absolutely nothing wrong with keynote speakers. I've been to all of them and I think they're fabulous, but we don't do those, at least not at this point, because we just, whatever room we have that's not a panel or scheduling information, we give people places to play and share their music. And I think most of the venues like that as well, because the Wednesday night thing, you get to do one song. So if you're at the Wednesday thing, you're having a hamburger and a beer, and then you hear a song from somebody, you go, okay, they're on my schedule to go here at an in-room showcase because I really enjoyed that song and I want to hear more from that artist. So it's like kind of a a way to hear a whole lot of people all at once and kind of get a notion. Because sometimes you'll look at a schedule and you say, I don't know any name on this schedule. I don't even know where to go. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a lead in. And Jen, is your hand is up?
My hand is up. I am driving home. Thanks for being patient. Or I'm passaging home. I just wanted to reiterate kind of what Jared said is the wonderful thing about the regions is that they are smaller and in many ways so much easier to connect with each other. I always like to encourage people before they attend our international conference to go to a region to make those connections. And it's easier to connect with people when it's only 200 to 300 people as opposed to 2,000 to 3,000 people. Which is what Folk Alliance, our numbers are around 2,500 people. So I encourage people to go to the region to find a group of people, especially folks that then if you'll meet up with again at the international conference, then you have a base of people and you have connections that you made on a smaller level. And it's less intimidating to attend a region than it is to attend the international conference. That's it. Thanks, Dallas.
Yeah, I'd love that. I've always said that. I've said you have a tribe. You're not alone. You've got some people to connect with in a larger space. And also, that's the way you figure out how to get showcases and things to do, because all your new friends are going to help you do that. And which is, when you build that team, is how I see it. I mean, I even had, people who aren't musicians even have to do that. I mean, I had a first Folk Alliance that I went to that I didn't know anybody. I was just with who was the producer of the festival at the time, and went every year until I had built up a base of people so that when I inherited that job, I had a good core base. And so we talk about it as if it's only the musicians that need to do that, but in truth, Folk Alliance was created and continues to be that for anyone in the music industry, because we all need that. We all need our teams and our tribes and our people who will help us on our path to figure out what it is we need to do. And, if you don't know what a PRO is or how to do your copyright or just to tour in Europe. I mean, there's so many wonderful panels on how to accomplish that. And if you're sitting at home in your, kitchen in Michigan and you think, I want to tour Europe, how do I do that? That kind of information is available through Folk Alliance. On many, many levels. And that's why being a member of Folk Alliance, there's so many ways in which they work for us and provide opportunities and connections to organizations that when they sign up with them, it becomes a group thing. Like you as an individual might pay 10 times more money. But if you come in through Folk Alliance, which the membership is like $99 for an individual, then you have access to all of these connections that they've already made with organizations that as a team, you can get a better discount, just like house concerts can get their their PROs are ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. And so those fees to 3 different organizations can really, really add up. But if you go in through Folk Alliance, they have created a situation that you as a member get to participate in and make it so much easier, because we lost a lot of venues because they couldn't afford to do many of those kind of technical things that come along with presenting music, and might not have even known about them had they not been in Folk Alliance. And once you're a member of Folk Alliance International, it's 1 membership fee, and then you are then a member of the region where you live. So like if you live in Oklahoma, you're a member of the SWRFA region. You get to vote on who the board is. You can participate in meetings. You can get on the board. If you live in Oklahoma and you really want to be a member of Far West, you can also do that. You just have to state your preference. And so, again, once you're a member, you have access to everything that is Folk Alliance. And is there, and Orson, I see your name. You were in one of my breakout sessions, I think, and we didn't even get to see your face or visit. But does anybody else have comments, questions? Does Jennifer, do you want to add to what I said about Folk Alliance, or should I just keep going?
Well, first of all, thank you for doing an excellent job. And second of all, I'm finally home. I apologize for my randomness today. I've had a doctor's appointment where I got stitches out after a surgery. So yeah, it's but thank you for saying that all about our membership. That's really important. And you know, we're here to serve our members, and through the regional relationships are a huge part of the membership and our community in general. And thanks for joining us today. I mean, we can, how much time do we have left? Is it 26 minutes? Is that right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can spend the rest of the time just talking with each other and continuing the elevator like sessions where we can learn from each other if we want to spend the rest of our time that way.
Okay.
It's up to you, Dallas. This is your meeting.
No, well, yeah, but it's everybody's. And so, okay, well, let's briefly maybe just, some of you I met in the breakout sessions, but not everybody here did. So I'm just gonna, actually, I think I'll start at the bottom of my screen. And Penelope, would you like to just introduce yourself and say hello to everybody?
Sure. I'm Penelope Salinger. I live in Santa Barbara, California, so I'm a member of Far West. And I'm a singer-songwriter with 5 albums. And one of the most satisfying ways that I use my music is I sing with the Threshold Choir. And our calling is to sing at the bedside of those who are dying. It's an international organization. And so a lot of my volunteer time is spent working at that level for that organization.
Oh, how wonderful. There's an organization in Austin called Swan Songs, and Christine Albert started it, and they do, and they just opened a chapter in Portland. It'd never been anywhere but Austin before. So it's starting to spread that as well. So
And
that's
they do have a Threshold Choir in Austin. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
How wonderful. Thank you for doing that. Because I don't know how many of you know who Tom Prasad Rao is. He's a dear friend of mine, a musician in our community. And I'm actually at his house right now visiting him in that same capacity. And so yeah. Kamika.
All righty. I'm Kamika. Here, let me come on camera again here. All right, Kamika, I'm based in Dallas, Texas, ancestral lands of the Caddo and Kickapoo. I am a folk soul singer-songwriter. Also got a background in music therapy, board certified in that with a master's. Let's see. I'm also a board member for Music to Life, which is so we talked about a little bit in the beginning, social change musician support organization co-founded by Noel Paul Stuckey of Peter, Paul and Mary, and his daughter Liz Sunday Stuckey Sunday as well. Yeah, I've been in through Music to Life was my first like, hey, what's FAI during the virtual conference, and I've gone to 2 in person and have really loved and appreciated the space. So it keeps bringing me back. Got to tour internationally last year as U.S. Cultural Ambassador. I went to Zambia, then made some great contacts and got to do Colombia, was in Trinidad as well. And this year I'm actually in the midst of a primarily Texas tour, out to different parts of the region. And yeah, I guess I'll pause there, but nice to meet everybody. And yeah.
Great, thanks. Chris Albert.
Hello, my name's Chris Albert. I'm a member of the Farm group. I joined Folk Alliance last year after I released an album called Ain't Hip Enough. And through them, they considered it for a Grammy last year. I have a record company, Hideaway Records, and I used to live in Dallas for about 10 years back in the 80s. And I helped and put together a thing called the Dallas Songwriters Association.
Oh, yeah.
And you were the one who turned me on to the Folk Alliance. So after I had talked to you and had that little meeting, I went and joined. And it's been a eye opener for me because I thought everything was lost. And then when I went to the Folk Alliance conference in Kansas City, I was just dumbfounded by all the regional music and all the stuff that was going on there. It was just great. And I've got 2 albums of my own, one called Tex and the Roadies, which was covers. We did that in the 90s, and then this last album, and I'm getting ready to do another album. But I also have a record company. I've done a lot of music from the Springfield, the Ozarks area. I also am president of a thing called Music Monday of the Ozarks, where we film and archive the history of the music in the Ozarks, Southwest Missouri.
Nice.
But the Ozarks includes Arkansas, Oklahoma, parts of Missouri, that whole area. So, and we've had everybody from Wayne Carson, who wrote the letter and Always on My Mind, to Scott Simon, his dad, Cy Simon, did the Ozark Jubilee. The Ozarks is full of rich music, entertainers, through places like Eureka Springs and Springfield. And then you've got Branson, of course. But that's me. I pretty much, I enjoy the Folk Alliance. I'm just totally awed by the work that you guys have done over the years and stuff like that. I wish I had known about it earlier.
Well, we all get there when we, what was that phrase? I don't know. I got there as fast as I could.
Well, it's like everybody said, this last album was my COVID album. It was when you're sitting alone and you're going, wow, what am I going to do? There's nothing to do. So I decided to do an album and used a lot of local musicians on it and I have some songwriters that I published. So I got some of their songs on there, my songs on there. And I like cover tunes. I'm from the old school of folk where Bob Dylan wrote the songs and Peter, Paul, and Mary sang them. And everybody kind of forgets that a little bit. And so that's how I grew up. So I enjoy taking songs that I've already written and rearranging them and do them the way I like to do them.
Well, you remind me a little bit of the Lomax family when they went and John Lomax III is still doing it. They went out into the field and recorded a lot of the blues artists that
Yes.
were completely like they didn't even know that anything other than just singing their music in the field. And and just have preserved so much of the history of music. And that, when people say, are you a musician? I say, no, I'm the support system that they need, because that is what many of the Folk Alliance members is the historians and the support and the venues and the how-tos that every musician needs. And obviously, they need our love of it. And
Well, yeah. I opened up a club down in Reed Springs, which was full of a lot of musicians from the Silver Dollar City earlier years. and I had Brewer and Shipley there, and I brought in
Oh, I had them. I
Crow
love them.
Johnson played there. John Hartford played there about a year before he passed, which was a great show. And then, if anybody's ever heard of Wes Wilson, he's the guy who did all the posters for the Fillmore back in the day. And he moved to Shell Knob, it's a small little town, and he used to come to our club. He called it his church because we had the old folk, and I met several musicians who used to play the Vanguard, and they played up in Kansas City, and they would come through, and we'd book them and stuff. So we kept it alive there for years. But like I
Yeah.
said,
Oh,
folk music is my heart. That's where I started.
Well, and that's so wonderful too, is to talk about the art that's also a part of it. I mean, it's like
Oh,
there's people in Austin who did all the Armadillo World Headquarters
oh yes.
posters, and they're still famous and collectible. And so that's just one more piece of this puzzle that Folk Alliance and organizations like Folk Alliance put together, so that somebody does all the pieces, because if you're the songwriter, you need the support system.
Well, yeah, I used to
Dallas.
hang out at Lake Travis out at Hippie Hollow back in the day, and when the Armadillo was still going, and B.W. Stevenson, Michael Murphy, all them lived down the road down there. So,
Yeah.
And that was really nice in Austin back in those days because it was carefree, and I got a good education down there, and
Yeah,
I capped
Jennifer.
it off with Dallas.
I was just gonna tell you I was wrong on the time. This actually ends at 12:45, so I apologize
Oh shit.
Oh,
for
Whoop.
that.
Did I
So
say
we
that?
only have
on
a
tape?
couple more minutes left before
Okay.
a few other
Okay.
things start.
Well, Orson, I'll pick on you because I've seen your name and you haven't got to say anything yet. So come on.
Who are you talking to?
Orson Horchler.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, Orson Horkler. So, yeah, thanks. I'm tickled by your conversations here. I'm a French singer-songwriter who sings in English and Spanish. And a few years ago, I moved to Portland, Maine, and I found a big community of fellow immigrants like myself. And I put a band together called Bondeco. And our members are anyone from a West African griot who comes from a long lineage of drummers to Uli Brekovka, who is the Alan Lomax of speaking of Alan Lomax of Albania. He spent 40 years during the hard dictatorship there, collecting folk songs from his country.
Oh,
And
man,
so
how
a lot of it has meant like thinking like what is folk music really, and so we love playing. We call it American music because it comes from different countries, and we try to do it interculturally, which is very hard because of our different. Like I spent 20 some years in this country. Some have only spent 3, and there's a real power dynamic that I have to be acutely aware of, and so we really take pride and really practice working interculturally, which is never
Folk Alliance
perfect.
is your tribe then. I'm telling you, you need to come to Montreal. And
Okay, well, thanks, because it's my first time like meeting.
oh, well, apply for a showcase. It
do,
sounds like you're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'm rushing you a little bit because we are getting ready to be probably shut off. I'm not sure what they'll.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the next event is at 1 o'clock, so we can certainly go over a little bit, but this allows you, Dallas, to take a break, and other people to step away and be refreshed and get food or whatever to be available for 1 o'clock. So probably should wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah, well, and Orson, thank you for introducing yourself. And I really do encourage you to take what you're doing, which just sounds fabulous and wonderful, and try to expose our community to what you're doing, whether it's through just attending or whether you can get a showcase or however you do that. It just sounds beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
And like Kamika said, she's doing things like that as well. And Folk Alliance is just full of that. And you will meet all kinds of folks to continue to collaborate with over and above what you're already doing. And so I truly encourage you to thanks for coming today and stepping up and finding out what we're doing.
Thank you for your all doing.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for coming to the SWRFA breakout session, and so happy to see familiar faces and to meet new ones. And if I told you I was going to put you on the spot to come to SWRFA, I will. So again, like Jen said, maybe everybody needs a quick break.
Yeah.
And
And
the next session is at 1, which
it's
is
at 1
what?
o'clock. And I believe it's official showcase submitting an official showcase application. So I believe
Oh,
all of our
good
regions,
panel.
including you, Dallas, are
Oh.
on that. So it will be artists. I absolutely encourage you to attend that in particular, so you have an idea of what each region is looking for when you're filling out an application. It's a great insight or information on the best way to present yourself. So please show up at 1 o'clock.
All right. Thank you, everybody, again.
Thank
It's good to
you.
meet you.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye, y'all. We'll see you throughout the day and tomorrow.